Welcome to another podcast of Two Guys, All Things Tech. I'm Tony Lucidi,
I'm Kevin Deveci.
and we're continuing our series on artificial intelligence and regulations. This is our third podcast in that series, and today's podcast is going to be on AI surveillance, protecting security or privacy. This one's a big one. A lot of the security and privacy was in our previous, but this one is very specific to AI surveillance.
Mhm.
So this one's going to be a good one. So AI currently today, you walk through New York City, you cannot walk on a street without passing a camera.
True.
Right? I
That's
mean,
true.
look what just happened.
Everywhere.
Look what just happened at the Coldplay concert, right?
That
That dude,
was a bomb.
that was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
No,
Don't do it. Don't do it.
no critique on any of that, but there was a camera, and that camera
Well,
caught an inappropriate act. So
we didn't do anything. We just watch.
surveillance is all over the place.
That's true.
Here in Suffolk County, New York, they had the red light cameras, and they were deemed illegal. So they stopped giving tickets based
Mhm.
off of the red light cameras. But I noticed they didn't take the cameras down. So the surveillance
Yeah,
is
watching
still the surveillance is still there. So I think this is going to be a rough one because you want to regulate surveillance.
I'm pro regulation. Please regulate
and
it.
I can understand that, right? But there's no possible way you can walk down the street in New York City and not get your face on a camera. How do you potentially regulate that? But give me an idea. Just give me a simple thought process of what you think a regulatory item might be.
I will say, yeah, that's true. I mean, wherever we go, our face is seen by the cameras, recorded by the cameras, and that is okay because you're in public.
Okay.
You are expected to be seen. So, in terms of AI and keeping the data safe, my worry starts after recording the people's faces. Where the data goes?
Right.
How do they keep it? How long they are keeping it for? And what they are doing it with? So these are my main concerns, right? Uh, there has to be a mechanism from the point of regulatory purposes. There has to be rules that they shouldn't be keeping the data more than certain number of days. They need to just fresh it as possible.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
And
whoa, wait,
and
wait,
yeah, you're
So
gonna
you're,
get it up. You don't know what they're gonna do with the data.
I know, but
They know exactly when you are going, where you
okay,
are going.
but let's say a murder happens. No, that's not going to happen because it's too quick. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about getting rid of data too early because you could potentially be losing very valuable information at that point, right? So
Yes.
you got to be careful.
Mhm.
And I think this goes to the crux of our whole conversation around AI and
Yes.
regulations. It's more of, and I think you and I are in agreement with this. It's who's regulating and what are the regulations,
Mhm.
right? Again, I'm going to have the same conversation I've had this entire series is that, again, it's going to kill innovation. It's going to stop progress. It's going to slow things down. Um, you know, we have situations today where AI surveillance can help maybe prevent a crime. But if I have to go through regulations and say, well, I capture, because I know it's going to happen.
Yes.
I'm going
Yes.
to get a robber. I'm going to have the AI is going to now say, hey, we thwarted this robber before, and the robber's going to say, well, you took my image and I don't really want that image being taken. It was
Mhm.
my property, and some lawyer's going to jump in, and now we slow everything down to a crawling halt. I still say that you got to be careful with regulations because I don't trust the fact that they're not going, it's just going to slow stuff down.
You know what? for the sake of keeping the data safe and making sure that no one is abusing the data or using it in different ways that we never thought about, I'm okay with slowing down the speed a little bit.
I guess so. I guess I'm okay with that.
Because
Here's my problem.
imagine the things that they can do by capturing these images and keeping it and putting things together, right? So someone can easily trace you at what time, where did you go, what did you do, and etc. etc. I mean, you can say, hey, I didn't do anything illegal, so what if that? But then why would they really trace you anyways?
So,
You know, like, what is the point? So,
but they have software today
Mhm.
that they're using to help find criminals,
but
and it's working.
I think that's a different conversation.
It's AI based.
That's for sure. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, what the
But my point
for
is
what purpose you are using that technology? That's my concern.
Correct. It's only police enforcement.
Yeah. And it has to be documented. It has to be audited.
Yes.
Those reports and records, audit records, they need to be retrievable if then there is a need for any public requests or conversations that they need to actually prove that they actually use those technologies within
Here's the thing.
the regulations and law.
And I don't want to, the recent mass shooting in New York City,
Mhm.
right? If you look at some of the pictures, the guy was walking through the front of the building with the rifle
with the
fully
long
exposed.
rifle, yeah.
Now, there was somebody on LinkedIn, there was a company on LinkedIn that said, had our software been deployed, we could have stopped that. Dude, listen, I'm just telling you what I just saw today on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, would regulations have maybe prevented that, slowed it down?
See, maybe instead of trying to trace the faces, maybe they can trace the items by using AI, right?
no. So this
From
company
this recording, you can tell if it's a gun or if it's a weapon, correct?
Yes. So this particular company, the woman had said that their software would have identified the rifle. I mean, if you
Who
look at
knows?
if
I
you look
haven't
at
seen the whole software,
Oh,
so I cannot vouch for it.
so it had the typical AI look. She showed a picture of it. She showed a picture of the guy. It had a little yellow triangle around, but because of how he was carrying it,
Okay.
I mean,
It was pretty open. I mean, it was. I saw the
it was
pictures. Yeah,
completely open.
Yeah.
Right. But
it's like unforeseen in Manhattan, in the middle of Manhattan.
correct.
Like someone is walking on the with the long rifle. It's like, I mean, who would have thought about it?
But let's say there was a process in place.
You know how difficult it is to get a gun in New York City?
I think the great. But my point is let's say it spotted him getting off the subway, and then cameras tracked him. You could have had police at the building
Mhm.
or close to it,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
For sure,
So that's my concern. And that's always been my concern here. And on top of that is, who are the regulators? We're getting back to this conversation too, right? You have to have the right group of people,
Mhm.
and I don't know how to stop it, but the money flow, payments, payoffs, right? Like in our previous podcast, we talked about healthcare. Well, come on. Biggest profit margins, biggest money makers are the pharmaceutical companies. You don't think they're going to try to? They do it today,
Mhm.
right? They're gonna try to force and lobby for, certain regulations to be done.
Mhm.
So surveillance and security, it is a rough one. But I do agree. I do think I think on every level of every topic we've spoken about, slowing AI down is something that needs to happen.
Mhm.
I do think that is a true statement, because it is moving so fast that we can't, and we're not figuring it out. My problem with the regulation is Illinois tried to, and they implemented a biometrics law
Okay.
in Illinois, and it's implemented in Illinois, and you don't have AI companies pushing product in Illinois because you can't take your face, you got all of this other stuff.
Okay.
And my fear is the first person that gets shot and killed because they didn't allow their face to be recognized is when you're going to start to have the uprise, right? And I think that's the ebb and flow of the whole situation, right?
Yeah, we need to utilize this technology for public safety. That's for sure. As we recently experienced in the city, which is very sad and tragic.
Yeah.
And however, there has to be, of course, boundaries and regulations as to create records as to how those technologies being used, how they are being used, and there has to be an
The
audit
problem I
trail.
have with surveillance is it's always under police, government, and it always comes with the caveat of, well, that's top secret or that's this or that, right?
Mhm.
We're doing it for your benefit, for your good type of thing. Remember after 9/11,
Mhm.
certain things got pushed. People are like, yeah, I'm willing to give up because what basically just happened, right?
Yes.
So what I don't trust about this particular thing is I have an already fenced off community that now you're going to stick regulation in, and who's
Mhm.
going to be in the regulatory body? Those people, because I got to allow the regular guy in because the regular guy can't listen to. You understand where I'm going? So
Yes.
it's just
Yes.
it's not the fox in the hen house. It's basically them regulating themselves, and that's not regulation, right? That's just a facade.
Mhm.
So how do you prevent that? I mean, because if we're talking surveillance, that is generally law enforcement, military.
Mhm.
So how do you even so even if you could get regulations,
Mhm.
how is that going to work,
Yeah, that's a
right?
good point.
Because
We need audit AI.
yeah,
AI for audit purposes only.
yeah, well, okay, so I'm going to challenge you again because okay, top secret, I can't give you the algorithms,
Mhm.
right? I'm a military industry. I really can't give this out.
Why are you
Or
talking about military? Just
well,
give a
because
civilian example. I don't know
what
anything about military.
I preface was is that I said surveillance, right? This particular topic is surveillance.
Well,
Surveillance is
first of all,
generally
anything goes for nation security. Okay,
that's my
so
point.
yeah,
That's my
that's
point.
for sure. I mean, no one can challenge
So
that.
how do you have an
So
outside? I gotta bring. See, I wouldn't want regulation unless there was an outside.
I won't touch that. So that's nation
Okay,
security. So it's
wait a
too
minute.
complicated
Okay,
for this podcast. Keep it
see,
civilian.
I can admit. Wait, hold on a second. I can admit that I want to be pro, but the moment I nail you on the gun, you're like, yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
But when it comes
No,
to nation
that's not
security,
true.
anything goes, man.
Move on.
Yes. Next. You picked the
It's a
most
real good
difficult subject.
combination.
This
You
is
guys
nation
all think
security.
that, except when the guy doing the pros doesn't like what the con says. He's like, nah, we're gonna move on to the next.
We need one audit AI, like independent from humans, to just audit things. That's what I will say. Because see, you cannot when it comes to nation security or when it comes to police activities. These are tough conversations,
Yes, they
right?
are.
And the public safety is very important, right? And even in a place like New York City, where gun ownership is strictly controlled and laws are really in place, we just experiences this
Right.
week. It is sad. I mean, when you see this in the city, which is unacceptable, sad, and tragic, then you just want to deploy everything that you got, with no matter what, to avoid,
Well, that's it.
prevent this from happening again.
When
Right.
we are talking surveillance, right?
Yes.
So again, you're referring.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm referring back to the 9/11 situation, right? We
Mhm.
would have given up every freedom we wanted.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't want to go through that again. I mean, it was just to watch that is horrible. To know that a police officer died on that shooting, that the dude is wreaking havoc in the lobby with people who have nothing to do with his destined goal. I mean, it's just
So, yeah.
right. So it is tragic, and um, we have to be careful because I think people rush. and we'd be willing to say, okay, you regulate it. And I think that's another problem, I think, in general, right? This is sparking a thought process that there are those group of people that say, I have my rights and I don't want them being violated. And you got another group that is more on the sheepish side that says, yeah, do whatever you have to do, just protect me.
Mhm.
And that's the problem you have, right?
Yeah, I
Because
think
that's where it's going to come down.
yeah, I
to,
think
right?
you need to find the balance. I don't know how, but just find the balance is the key. Yeah, you cannot just let the public safety go. That's very important. But at the same time, you cannot let go individual rights either. So finding that balance in a way that it'll basically be in favor of society,
So
people.
I will say that based on what I've seen in the news, that it seems like pro regulation. Oh no, actually no, pro regulation is not coming because there were lawsuits that were brought in Illinois and some of the other states, and they were not. Um, they didn't win the case,
Mm.
right? But they didn't win the case because I think in most of the cases it was law enforcement. So the case was lost in the law enforcement. But um, you remember when Google first came out and they were doing the facial recognition, the ACLU came in,
Mhm.
said absolutely not, blah, blah, blah. And they tried many, many cases and not many of them won, right? So legally, it's going to be a problem. It goes back to everything we've been talking about,
Mhm.
right? Even if it is private industry, right? You're going to regulate private industry. That's a hurdle, right? So the
Yep.
ACLU, facial recognition, has been around. It's one of the first, right, really true AI things that we were like, holy cow, that the facial recognition. I saw something on the Discovery Channel where I think it was one of those shows where they were saying, is this real or not? And they were saying about the guy Kim Jong Un that he's got a body double,
Oh,
right? They're saying he's not alive, got a body double. All right, so the
wow.
show brings on this facial recognition company, and they say 97% sure that it is him.
Mhm.
That's a high probability,
It is. Yeah.
right? So
Wow.
now that was 3-4 years ago.
Mhm.
So it's
Imagine now.
it's correct. And
Yeah.
so this is my point. Facial recognition came out, crap hit the fan, ACLU jumps. Have we seen anything to stop facial recognition? No,
I guess not.
no,
Not that I know.
no. It's one of the biggest AI things that occurred, and yet here we are today, and law enforcement is using it, military is using it, ACLU steps in. I still see cameras all over the place. I still see, you know, um, they're being utilized. Although I know that a lot of them are being utilized for good things like traffic and potentially for that's another thing I get worried about. You could use AI to control traffic. You can use AI to help an emergency vehicle find the quickest route. So we start to slow it down. What if, your loved one was in that ambulance and you know the city,
Mhm.
heart attack, 2 minutes is life or death. But if I can shave a minute and a half because I'm going to reroute you because I have cameras looking at the traffic pattern. You see where I'm going? That this one is real. This one is a really touchy one because it's like the healthcare one. It's people and their lives and their loved ones. So,
Mhm.
I don't know how this one's going to work out. But to your point, you have to expose the algorithms, and
Mhm.
that's not. I
Good
mean,
luck getting it.
even with facial recognition. See, so what facial recognition has proven now, at least to me, is that it works.
Yep. Yep.
To your point with the doctors on the last
It's true. I mean,
episode,
it's a great technology when you use it right. It's beautiful. I mean,
it's a good point.
it can really be
That's a good point. So it
proactive.
almost is regulated. Let's say
Mhm.
that, right? Because how much facial recognition is being used in the private end? I don't know this answer, but maybe somebody out there does. Um, how much facial recognition is really being, well, it is actually, your iPhone does it. Look at all the filters and all the other stuff,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it is using it, because how do you apply that filter if I don't know where the eyes are, right? So I'm trying to make Tony's face not look all wrinkly and stuff, right? So I'm
Yeah.
removing, well, I gotta know
Maybe
where my eyes
maybe
are.
we
I
should
gotta-
start cleaning up with our phones first, right? How do you guys use your phones? We take pictures all the time. We take videos all the time. We keep them on cloud. We keep them on our
Oh, yeah.
phone. How safe are they? I don't
Well,
know.
look, man, how many times Facebook has told me you're in this picture? That first time I saw that scared me. I mean, we're getting off topic here, but it's facial recognition, it's surveillance, so we're on top.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first time it said, "Hey,
We are being surveilled by our own devices, by the way. That's another thing.
when Facebook told me you're in this picture," I'm like, "Whoa!" Not only did Facebook know, I was like, "How did it know?" And like
Knows
the
where you
picture,
are, who you are with.
the picture was not even a full frontal shot.
Wow.
It was sort of like a half shot, and I'm like, maybe like sort of like this view right now that the audience is seeing. It's like my
Yeah.
side view. How do you know from the side view that was me? I'm like, dang, that thing and that
Well,
was how many years ago?
Yeah. Well, it's really scary. I mean, speaking of phones, I don't think they are ever off, ever.
No,
They listen, they watch, they keep just recording.
but again,
Um,
is that regulated? That thing is listening to us. People swear that they'll say a conversation, and all of a sudden the phone, Facebook prompts for an ad for what they were just talking about.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised. Look at Alexa, right?
Yeah.
But here's my
That's
anti-regulation.
right.
Here's my big anti-regulation thing, is that the people don't care. There are some that do. I'm not going to say that, but we all have a phone.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I said this today to a friend of mine. If you think your data is not on the dark web, you're mistaken. It's gotten to a point where I know my data is on the dark web. I have to face that fact because
Yeah.
everybody has my data, right? My financial institutions and all of these
True,
things.
true.
So I think we're becoming a society that says, okay.
I was watching a documentary about China. Okay. And there they have one app called WeChat. So they do everything WeChat. Right? They chat with WeChat. They buy things with WeChat. They exchange videos. Everything is one software for everything that they use. So because it's in China, nature is highly regulated, extra regulated. So then they ask people. They had the interview with people, like regular people, like, what do you think about WeChat? Government is government is surveilling, right? They are listening, they are watching, that, right? And they ask people, they're like, yeah, we know that. We use the software all the time, but we don't mind.
You're not making a fair comparison.
Why?
Because their entire lives, that's what they've known.
No, what I'm saying is like,
why would they want something different?
they never seen something different. They had no idea.
So they have no idea.
Yeah,
So you
but
can't
what I'm
ask them.
saying is like, this is the direction that we are going a little bit, right? So we are saying, oh, so what if they are watching and listening? So what am I hiding? I'm not hiding anything, but why they are watching anyways? That's why they are struggling anyways.
I will tell you that I know
So-
my data is out there, but I do everything I still can because I don't want my data out there.
Mhm.
I'm not going to be that guy because I've seen what people do.
Mhm.
I mean, let's just look at history. Every bad thing was done with some level of good intent that you think you're changing the world or you think you're making it a better place, and you don't. So I will always be that guy saying, no, I'm not giving up this. No, I'm not doing that. Although I have to accept the fact that if I want to do business, this is it. As I just lost my friggin' thing.
Just drop your AI.
Yeah, I just dropped my
Your
AI.
AI attachment just
My
dropped.
AI just dropped. So I know I have to do business on that phone, and I have to accept it. But I do things on the phone that I can minimize my effect. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I when I go to sleep at night, my phone is off in my office, and it's in my wife says all the time, you plug it back in and it turns back on.
Mhm.
You think that's by mistake? So But I do what I can, and I always want to be that voice, because what winds up happening is, to your point, you wind up in a China-like state where you're just like, okay,
So what?
what do I
Yeah,
care?
kind of like so what type
So
of
yeah, but
yeah
but
approach, yeah.
history has told you one thing. So what winds up being a problem.
True, because you don't know where it is going eventually. That's why. So the
Correct.
only difference is, to your point, they never seen something else. They grew up on WeChat, so that's it. So we have options here. We have freedoms. We have many privileges that we truly appreciate, of course. So then we can talk about it, discuss about it. We can make the comparisons, which is in our favor here, in this beautiful country. So that's our advantage in that sense. On a personal level, to your point, then we still just take certain precautions, right? Just like to your point, just turn off your
Well,
phone, put it away if
I
you're not
would
using
always
it.
want this, what we're doing today. This has to occur. And
Yes.
what's really sad is this isn't occurring. Oh, maybe it is, and I'm not aware of it.
Mhm, mhm.
But this should be this conversation should be happening in a much more regular occurrent state.
Mhm.
And
But that's why we start this podcast, so we can have this conversation.
So that
What
we
do you
can
think
talk
about
about it.
this? You can put it in the comment section.
Well, I think we're on the half hour here, or close to it. So why don't we end on this one? We'd love to hear back from you, the audience.
Would you like regulations?
Yeah, let us know. Yeah, I would.
Yes? What do you think?
I would
Yeah,
love.
these are tough conversations. I
Yeah.
mean, Anton and I, we are exchanging some ideas, but still, these are difficult.
These are
We don't have the answers. We are
Correct.
just discussing and
Yeah.
just sharing.
So
But
let us know.
we are definitely curious about what you think.
And stay tuned next time. We have a couple more episodes on AI, and we'd love to hear your comments. I'm Tony Lucidi.
I'm Kevin Deveji. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for being with us.